Shannon, can you see this happening for Skip's Cowboys?
I don't, because Jerry Jones had an opportunity in the offseason, Skip, to get high-value linebackers, Zadarius Smith, Von Miller, B. Wags from Seattle, and not give up compensation, not give up draft capital.
All different kinds of players, but I got it.
But here's the thing, Skip. B. Wags is the exact linebacker of Roquan Smith. He's a 7-time first-team All-Pro. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. Basically, he and Aaron Donald are been the preeminent guys on the All-Pro team on the defensive side.
We did get Anthony Barr, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think Anthony Barr is quite in those equations. But, Skip, you're looking at a 25-year-old middle linebacker. Over the last 2 seasons, he's been a second-team All-Pro both of those seasons. He is a guy that if you bring him on, he's a 3-down linebacker. You can then switch Micah Parsons back to his natural spot. You can play him at Willie, or, Skip, you can say, you know what, Micah, we're going to go on and put you on that edge and let you do what you do like a T.J. Watt. We're going to let you be a Von Miller. We're going to let you be one of these edge guys that all you do, occasionally we'll drop you in the flat, play hook the flat. But more times than not, we want you to go quarterback hunting.
Thank you.
That's what they could do. But, Skip, he's looking. We see what We see what Leonard got last year. 5 years, $99 million. Fred Warner, 5 years, $95 million. So he's going to be looking in that range about $20 million a year. I don't think Jerry Jones is willing to go to that number and give up draft capital in order to get him. Should they? Yes. Will they? No. Knowing that Jerry Jones, like you said yesterday, you believe Jerry Jones is out of the big market business of getting high-value free agents. Deion Sanders, he made the splash with T.O., but really he's been relatively quiet over the last couple of years. They talk about draft and develop. This is already a proven commodity. He's already been drafted. He's already developed. He's one of the premier middle linebackers in all of football. It's been a long time since you had a guy like this, a 3-down player, a very good player, and he's only 25 years of age. But the number that he's trying to get to as far as monetarily, I don't believe Jerry Jones will go to that number. They say you could probably get him for a 3rd-round pick. I don't know about that, maybe a 2nd-round pick. But I think the number, the dollar value, is what's going to scare Jerry Jones away. And so I don't believe it's going to happen. But would he change the fortunes? Absolutely, because now you get to switch Micah and put him in his natural habitat.
Thank you. Would Roquan Smith scare Shannon Sharpe?
Yeah.
Yes, he would. Jerry, are you listening? Okay, I'm about to tell you why I believe this time this speculation has some merit, has some legs, has some value, has some distinct possibility. I believe that Jerry's viewpoint has switched on his football team. I believe slowly but surely he is realizing he's going to have to win it with his defense as opposed to his offense.
That's not what he's been saying. He's been saying Zeke's going to be the focal point, and we're going to.
But that's
that's Jerry talking.
Emmitt Smith's been saying that as sort of the ambassador for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying completely back into Dak Prescott. You're going to have to convince me to make me a believer. You're going to have to reconvince. But I'm here to say I got 2 shots this year. Number one, I got, as Jen just said, the man I call 11 from heaven. And by the way, I just purchased his jersey. Just a little hint for what you might have to deal with on this show. Because I need me an 11. Once upon a time, I despised 11 for the Dallas Cowboys because Danny White wore it, and he was a disaster following Roger Staubach. Good guy, but disaster on the field.
Well, Skip, I mean, he was okay, Skip.
He had his moments.
But he followed Roger, so...
You just can't. You can't win. He was in a can't win. But now I'm in a can-win situation with 11 from heaven. I believe however far my team goes will be propelled by Micah Parsons and the defense and Dan Quinn, who was the assistant coach of the year last year in the National Football League. And you cannot convince me otherwise from the fact that I believe he did stay in Dallas because he got some sort of handshake agreement from Jerry. You are next to be my head coach. I thought he was going to be head coach last year. Silly me. I think it could happen sooner than later. I hope it doesn't happen in the middle of this year because that's not Jerry's way, number one. But that would mean this year would go completely off the deep end, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if the focus is now on the other side of the football, if we all believe, as Jerry, I believe in his heart and soul believes, that Zeke is on his last legs, that this is his swan song in Dallas. This is his last hurrah, that he's going to be eminently cuttable after yet another disappointing season as his yards per game continue to fall for the 7th straight year. If that's the case, it's going to expose Dak a little bit more. I don't think they can completely trust the aging offensive line with the newcomers in various key spots.
Okay.
And the point is that it's all defense. It's all Dan Quinn. It's all 11 from heaven. It's all about strengthening your strength. So this kind of maneuver, as long shot as it might be, this isn't a splash move because Roquan Smith is not a big name to me, right?
Right.
He's not a superstar name.
No.
But
he's just a quality solid. He's better than anything they got in that position.
What? He is a football player.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a plugger, a banger, a baller. He just plays football the way you're supposed to play football. Again, we're going to talk about our man Baker Mayfield, my man Baker Mayfield a little later, but that Georgia game against Oklahoma and that national semifinal, he's just all over the field. I'm saying, well, that guy can flat out play at the next level, and he went, 10th overall to the Bears.
Yes.
So now he's unhappy. I'm slightly concerned that he's represented by some guy who's not even approved by the NFL.
Well, he had Todd France.
Yeah.
He fired Todd France because for whatever reason, Skip, they weren't able to strike the long-term deal that he thought he deserved this offseason. So he fired this guy, and then he hired a guy that's not certified.
Not certified.
And the NFL says, do not talk to this gentleman because he's not certified by the NFLPA or he's not a lawyer. So whatever reason is, it's murky. So he's going to get no traction because no one's going to talk to him.
Because this gentleman has been calling randomly teams offering the services of Roquan Smith.
Correct.
Without the approval of the Bears or whatever.
Right.
So the point is, sometimes Jerry weirdly connects with guys like that because in the back of Jerry's mind, he's like, I think I could take him for a little bit of a ride.
Right.
Maybe I can do a deal that I wouldn't be able to do with Todd France because Todd France took Jerry to the cleaners, right, on the Dak deal.
Yes.
So the point is that this all shapes up to me like something Jerry would be intrigued by if, in fact, the Bears were just finally throwing up their hands. It's almost like Charles Haley, like San Francisco once upon a time, just said, okay, enough. We just can't deal with him. He's causing problems here. He's making waves. We're done. If you'll give us a third, which seems like a long shot, let's do a second. If you'll give us a second, we're out from under and we don't have to worry about having to pay him. You do, Jerry. The Dallas Cowboys are one of a handful of teams, a very few teams, who have 20+ million.
Yeah, they got the cap space to do it.
They also have 11 from heaven, who's going to come due at some point, and CeeDee Lamb is going to come due before that. And
they got their work cut out for them, Skip, because you got CeeDee that's eligible to get an extension this year, and then next year it's your guy, Micah Parsons, and Trayvon Diggs, and you also just think in the midst of that, Dak Prescott's going to be heading into his 4th year. So now you got 3-4 guys that's going to be looking for excess of $100 million in signing bonus. You get Roquan Smith, Skip. I just look at him. He's a 3-down linebacker. He will thump. But he's also good. He's not great. He's not Fred Warner. He's not about Bobby Wagner in pass coverage.
Nope.
But he's adequate enough.
Okay.
But the run stuff is where you guys struggle. He's going to be great in that aspect. And you get to put Micah, who's a lion, you put him back in the jungle and you take him out of the zoo. You put him back in his natural habitat and you say, go quarterback hunting, son. And he says, okay. Now, Skip, this is what you do. This is the problem that you create, though. Now you make Micah Parsons an every down edge rusher. He averages 15, 16 sacks. What do you think he's going to be asking for? Yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay.
Well, I don't care because if you can do it, you're going to get paid for it.
Okay.
So I'm going to recite from the report from HeavySports.com. This is Matt Lombardo, who, to your point that you just made, that acquiring Roquan Smith would, quote, leave Micah Parsons at his natural position as an edge rusher, at his natural position. Who came out here Monday after Monday last year banging this table about Dan Quinn, what in the name of Lawrence Taylor are you doing with Micah Parsons? How many times did I go crazy about the fact that we would show video of my man Micah chasing a wide receiver on a deep route down to the goal line or the 5-yard line? We saw it at New Orleans. We saw it at the Giants. he's covering wideouts down the field and doing it great because he can flat fly for 250-odd pounds.
Yes.
Okay, I kept telling you, you can't find edge rushers. They don't grow on Southern California palm trees. When you have one this special, you just have to leave him there and let him slowly but surely figure it out. He was a raw rookie last year. He doesn't have his complete man body. He's got natural man strength. But you have to let him do what God gave him the ability to do, which is bend and slip and sometimes bull rush and get his hands on the quarterback. At least make the quarterback move, at least hurry him, and sometimes knock him on his tail. So the point is, even you resisted for a while and you said, oh, he's just too light in the behind. You know, like he needs a few more pounds. If you leave him over there, he's going to get beat all to hell by left or right tackles, wherever you put him. So my point is, I think you came around to the position of, you guys are just out-cuting yourself here. They're trying to show the world, look what we got, a new Swiss Army knife. We can use him all over the football field. There's only one place to utilize him, and it's doing what you have to do to win football games, and that is make the passer throw it before he wants to.
That is his natural position, Skip, but you do realize that now going up every down against 300 pounds right tackles or left tackles is going to zap a little bit out of him. You do understand that. But I want Micah Parsons, I would rather in a practice when he's doing individual drill, Skip, where the linebackers, the outside linebackers are working, I would rather have him working on pass rush moves as opposed to dropping the hook, the flat, or dropping to the or racing up the seams. That's what I would rather have him doing. And if you get Roquan Smith, you're able to do that with him. I just don't believe, Jerry, given where the value for the inside linebacker is going, I just don't believe Jerry's going to spend that kind of money. He seems to be very hesitant to spend that kind of money on these type of guys. Like I said, I mean, Randy Gregory, for whatever reason, the contract, I don't really think that was a money issue. That was a wording of a contract issue. The Von Miller, they wanted Von Miller for half of what he got from Baltimore. And we see they didn't give Dalton Schultz the long-term deal. They got off Amari because it's like, well, you're not giving us $20 million of production. I just don't.
What's Von now, 32 or 3?
Yeah, he's got to be 30. Von came out in 2011, so he's got to be at the bare minimum, Skip. He's at least 33.
Okay, Roquan Smith is 25 years of age, so it's worth the investment because say 15 to 20 million somewhere in that ballpark. If you could lock him up for that right now, is that not the cost of doing business in the National Football League? Is that not the price of winning a championship in the National Football League? Could you not strengthen your strength? Because you still have the, 19th overall pick in Leighton Vander Esch. He's still pretty good. In fact,
he ain't Roquan Smith, though.
Okay, he's not Roquan Smith. But again, as an athlete, if he can stay healthy, he gets banged up. But I was watching at the end of practice, they had the video where he went between his legs and dunked over the crossbar, and then Micah tried to do it and couldn't pull it off. Because I think he'd never done it before. He's got the ability to do it. He just couldn't figure out the steps to go through and up and over. But Leighton Vander Esch is a stud athlete. He's still there. He made a Pro Bowl when he was a rookie, and I keep singing the praises of Jabril Cox because they stole him in the 4th round. He was an LSU stud before he wound up at North Dakota State. And the point was, he went the other way, North Dakota State to LSU. And the point is that they stole him, but he can't stay healthy. And he's always nicked. There's always something wrong. But my point, they got talent. They're loaded with talent at that position.
I like Vander Esch. I think he's a solid linebacker. I like Cox. They ain't this kid.
No.
This kid is special. This kid, he can play. And he would definitely. But the question is, Skip, look, the thing that the Cowboys did so well last year that they took the ball away. Now, in order for you to be what you believe they can be and what you want them to be, because you believe the offense is going to take a step back because of the wide receivers, Noah Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson.
I do.
Now you're asking Noah Brown, you're asking Tober, and you're asking CD. Now, CD might step up and be number 1, but you're going to need other people to play well with him. Okay, the Schultz replicate what he did last year. He played really well. He thought he had parlayed that into a long-term deal. Jerry says, no, I need to see 1 more year.
But he tagged him.
Yeah, right.
Which is high respect, man.
Yeah, but he don't want to be tagged. He want to be tagged. He's okay, now pay me my money.
Okay, I got it.
So with that, Skip, I would do the deal because I understand what this young man brings to the table and how better he's going to make your defense. But Jerry has been very hesitant to give big-time money to free agents. That's a far cry from what he used to do. Jerry would go all in. Skip, you remember he traded 2 first-round picks for Joey Galloway. He did the same thing for Roy Williams, the singing cowboy. He wanted T.O. He got Dion. He made the big splash play for Charles Taylor. Even though he didn't have to give up big-time money, he gave up some draft capital. So we've seen in the past Jerry make moves that says, like, well, damn, hey, and he says, Skip, you don't know the size of the check I would write.
I got it.
Okay? It's going to cost you about $100 million. Write that check.
I still believe he's out of the box office business, and he got out of it over the T.O. disaster. In the end, it was a disaster. T.O. had a great year the year in 2007, but then it just fell apart all around Bill Parcells. And T.O. was gone, and then Parcells was gone. And I think that ended the splash plays by Jerry Jones.
Yeah, but see, what Jerry did is Jerry blamed T.O., but he forgot that his quarterback was an accident waiting to happen.
He was.
And that every situation that you like, okay, we got this game, this is our game, he would fumble the ball, he would get strip sacked, or he would throw a costly pick a la Denver. You kick it. I mean, he throws for over 500 yards, Skip. He can't play any better than what he plays. All he has to do is not make a mistake.
505.
You don't make a mistake, you kick the field goal, you win the game. Instead, he makes the mistake, and then Peyton Manning gets, 1 first down, and then they kick up.
I think they just kicked it.
Yeah, I think they just kneeled on it. As a matter of fact, I think they just kneeled on ran the timeout.
Danny Trevathan.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
Tony, threw it right to Danny Trevathan. I just threw it right to him.
Right.
You got the ball back, you have a chance to go win the game.
Right.
Throws it right to him.
And if you remember, Skip, even in that divisional round of the playoffs, he threw a pick in the end zone to end it against the Giants.
He did. That was the T.O.
Right, that's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
Remember, Tony Romo had the bar snap. They finna kick a walk-off field goal. He fumbled the snap.
Yep.
Jerry was so enamored in love with Tony that he blamed everybody else for faults that were very visible that was on Tony Romo's shoulder.
Okay. He loved Tony because Tony was the biggest box office, because he was such a roller coaster ride. You could get great and you could get bad.
Would you say he was more box office than Troy? I'm not saying he's better than Troy, but because of the improvisation of the runaround, and then all of a sudden, J.J. Watt got him sacked. He breaks the sack. He runs over here. He runs over there, and then throws a 20-yard.
Absolutely.
Or he runs for first down.
Maybe 10 times more box office, but Troy was viewed as, within Cowboy Nation, as Gary Cooper, John Wayne.
Right.
Like the ultimate archetype, of what the quarterback should be.
Tony was more Roger Staubach.
He was.
The herky all over the place, Skip. Oh,
Roger
no, I'm not
Dodger.
going. Right. Yeah, exactly. He's more that. And so the Cowboys love their quarterbacks. He just wasn't able to parlay that. Staubach gave him a championship.
But Troy on the field was as meat and potatoes as you could get. He was just a dart thrower.
Yes.
And they didn't throw deep all that much.
Right.
They were a running football team.
Yes, and Troy wasn't going to. Troy was 5 steps, throw the bang eight.
Yep.
He was 3 and throw the slant route. He was not over here, over there, any of that. He was just straight right here. But you knew what you were going to get. But Skip, I would do the deal in this situation, because I know what this young man brings to the table.
You would do the deal.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
I would too. And I'm not being some pie in the sky overreaction.
I would do the deal.
It just makes so much sense. It works for you because it's a 2-for-1, because it would clarify Micah's position. It would allow him to anchor down on the edge, whichever edge you can move him from wherever you want to move him, but you could make him an edge rusher.
Right.
He's special, man, but so is this kid in a different way, not a splash way.
No.
He's more of, as you say, he's just a thumper.
Yes.
But you can't quantify how valuable that is to a defense, because all of a sudden it would take on a new spirit of, we're coming to punish you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Mike is not a punisher in physicality. You just can't block him.
Right.
Okay? So all of a sudden, you strengthen your strength, and you turn Dallas into doomsday again. You got a doomsday defense.
Percentage chance you think Jerry will do this deal?
I would give it 25%, which is pretty high.
Wow.
They have, as Stephen keeps saying, their powder dry enough. They got their $20 million. You'd have to dole it out. But you could say, wow, thank you, God. All of a sudden, this is one where, again, you don't want to give up a first for this, because Jerry is all about draft and develop. Because what's been his new mantra? What's been his new claim to fame? Draft night, Jerry's the king, right? He takes over and he makes every draft pick. And he's proud of that, and that makes him happy in his dotage in his older years, right? So you could still have your cake and eat it too, because I'm not saying it's a Super Bowl move, but it's a deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, but Skip, what I don't get is that, they keep saying that what we try to do is that we want to be good. Steven said, we want to be good. We're not the Rams. We want to be good over a period of time. We want to be good every year. No, it's not like your guy, Jerry, got 25 more years.
I don't think so.
Go win the championship. I worry about 2026, 2027 later. I worry about 2022 right now. And if this kid gives me the best opportunity to go and compete for that title, well, you go do the deal.
Well, I think Jerry all but admitted in his opening remarks at this year's training camp that the window closed. He just flat out said, last year was our window. It was open. Well, I think Roquan Smith would slightly reopen your window.
Yep.
Thank you. Do it, Jerry.
It ain't happening.
Makes sense.
No, it's not happening. You know it's not happening. I give it a milk chance, 2%.
Guys, 2%. All right, writing it down. He has been at Bears practices, although still in street clothes, not participating, obviously. And the team believes he will travel to Seattle for the second preseason game. We'll find out on Thursday.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.